Got Tony Tsoukalas on the line from Alabama Rivals. Please check out his work right there. You know the Rivals brand. It is top of the industry. Alabama taking on Florida to open the SEC. And in a sense, you could probably put Florida's talent level, their ability, their performance on par with Miami to a certain extent, or at least what we expect to play out this season. So if Alabama gets focused to that degree, maybe Florida's a little bit better than the Canes. We shall see. Miami not with the most impressive performance in week 2 for them against Appalachian State. So if Alabama can rein it all in and give us something close to, I think that standard against Miami might be a little bit too high. They were almost perfect in the first half, but until proven otherwise, a decided favorite in this one against Florida.
Yeah, I think you're going to see closer to Miami only because the focus. And I think that, so much of Alabama's problems weren't Mercer last week. It was just Alabama. So if they get that back to the full focus, this Alabama team can be pretty lethal. There's still some question marks on this Alabama team. Do they have, a deep do they have enough deep threats on in the receiving game? It's one thing we haven't really seen Alabama do too much. They did have that big 94-yard touchdown against Miami with Jamison Williams, but they haven't been as much of a big play threat this season. Some of that's due to penalties, but we saw the emergence of JoJo Earl, who's a freshman receiver, big time guy, fast guy. If he can continue that and maybe combine with Jamison Williams, I think they can stretch the field a little bit more. I think it's going to be important against Florida, who, can give up a bit. We've seen them, give up a few big plays through 2 games through the air already this season. So that's one thing that I think, if I'm in Alabama, I'm looking at. But it is going to be a test. And, I think this Florida team, especially if they can figure things out at quarterback, I think it could be, obviously better than Miami. And it could, they could surprise some people if they're able to kind of figure out that quarterback position, which is kind of a question mark right now. Alabama looks like they're preparing for 2 guys.
Yeah, so let's get to that. Anthony Richardson is the guy that I think Florida fans are clamoring for. They've had their taste of Emory Jones. He filled in a little bit here and there and had sub packages that were in play for him when he was backing up Kyle Trask last season. He would come into the games, actually in key situations. It wasn't just garbage time. Typically would run the ball. They'd let him throw some safe passes, but didn't have the entire offense at his disposal. Of course, he's the starting quarterback now, so the offense is his. But as he's bogged down and show his limitations as a quarterback, Anthony Richardson has gotten some play against FAU and FIU, and I think people like what they see. So it's going to be interesting to see if Dan Mullen's still going to play 2 quarterbacks, or if he's going to think, okay, big opponent for the first time. We blew out the first 2. We could kind of see what we have. Now we need to go with one guy.
Yeah, and you look at Anthony Richardson, right, and he looks exactly like a Dan Mullen quarterback. You got those big guys, the Cam Newton type, the Tim Tebow, the Dak Prescott, the big guys that can run the ball and deliver a pass as well. It just seems like he's tailor-made for that Dan Mullen offense. So, I think that's part of the reason why, Florida fans are clamoring so much. And then, Emory Jones doesn't look that great throwing the ball. And, while he can move, they can both move with their feet. So I think they're hoping for, a little bit of improvement there. I'm interested to see how Anthony Richardson looks against, it's one thing to do it against the alphabet soup of FAU and FIU or USF. But let's see how he does against an SEC defense, and frankly, one of the top defenses in the nation, if not the top defense in the nation. It might be hard for a young quarterback to continue that success against Alabama. Looks like Alabama's getting its secondary at full strength for the first time in this game. We'll see how Jalen Armour Davis and Josh Jobe kind of progress, but it's looking like they're going to play. Maybe Will Anderson plays as well. So that's a lot to throw at a young quarterback. But I think, if Florida's going to win this game, I'm kind of thinking it's going to have to be Anthony Richardson stepping up and really kind of having a coming out party. And, we've seen that. Look, Johnny Manziel obviously later on in the season than what Anthony Richardson's going to face Alabama. But, I think what he really, really started building up that hype was after he beat Alabama. I think Anthony Richardson, if he's able to beat Alabama, that could really that will definitely, I guarantee you, jumpstart his career.
Yeah, I messed up on the second opponent there. Yeah, South Florida was the game two opponent for the Gators there. Actually, on the road, 42-20 win in that one after defeating FAU. Florida, Alabama, and certainly for football fans in the SEC, this just putting those two names together brings back a lot of memories, a lot of history there down through the years. You're working on a piece going back to 1999, right, Tony?
Right. Yeah. It was so Florida had a 30-game winning streak heading into the swamp against Mike DeBoe's Alabama team. Spurrier's on, of course, for Florida. And Alabama won in a crazy overtime game where I'm sure people remember it, but Florida scores first on overtime, misses an extra point. Alabama marches back, scores on overtime, also misses an extra point, but Florida was offsides. Alabama gets another chance at the extra point, squeaks it through the left upright, and then shocks Florida. Ends up beating Florida again in the SEC championship game, but it was a crazy game. It snapped a winning streak. It meant a lot for those Alabama players. Some of them were recruited by Florida. Some of them, there was a lot of players from Florida on that team. So that was a big one for Alabama. And if you remember, Alabama lost to Louisiana Tech earlier in that season. So, it could have been really, that was kind of a pivotal point for Alabama during that season that they needed to kind of rebound and win. And it kind of got them back on track. And they ended up going to the Orange Bowl and losing to Tom Brady, coincidentally on a missed extra point in overtime, which is kind of full karma from the whole thing. But it was certainly a great game. And I look forward to kind of looking back on it.
Yeah, people don't look back on Mike DuBose's tenure at Alabama as being very successful, but he did get to 2 SEC championship games, and he was able to defeat the Gators in 99. I got tripped up when we started talking about this prior to the record, because in 99 they went, as you said, and took on Michigan at the Orange Bowl, 35-34 game that typically they would go to the Sugar Bowl, but that was the site of the national championship game that year, the BCS championship game, Florida State and Virginia Tech. So they went to the Orange instead. Yeah, obviously Alabama, Florida, the combination that has seen the most SEC championship games, starting with the first 3, 92, 93, 94. Good stuff. Hopefully we'll get a good one. I know Alabama fans don't want to see one. Another 3 or 4 touchdown win would be fine with them, but hopefully a good one at the Swamp, Alabama and Florida. Anything on this one, Tony, else in regards to anything else that we should hit?
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a good game too, and it'd be interesting. This is a huge game for Florida because I think everyone just wants to hand Georgia the East. But like I said, if Richardson can come out and maybe surprise Alabama, I think Florida is they have a team that can challenge. I know they lost a lot of stars like Alabama did, but this is a big one for Mullen and Florida if they want to. You don't want to give up after getting to the SEC championship game last year. You don't want to give up too much ground to Georgia this year, and I think it's an important season, and this would be certainly a way to kind of jumpstart that success and really kind of for Florida to announce itself as a national contender. So I definitely don't think it's a game that Alabama should take lightly, and I don't think it's one that they are going to take lightly.
Please give us a like and share these videos out on social media. Subscribe to know when we go live and upload new content. And of course, join Tony there at Alabama Rivals and check out his work right there. Tony, we appreciate you stopping by to break down the Tide and the Gators.